You're watching KOCO 5 Oklahoma City. Now, a special presentation, Chronicle.
Good evening. I'm Ariel Reshev. Tonight, the story that shook the state and rippled across the nation, the Daniel Holtzclaw trial. An Oklahoma City police officer convicted of sexually assaulting women while wearing the badge. Some say the case was swept under the rug by the police, the media, the city. The country in the midst of a crisis of confidence with police. Other cities erupting. Now we share the perspective from Oklahoma. How was the case handled? Has the city changed? We take you inside the investigation, the trial, the verdict, the sentencing, and the reaction. You're watching KOCO Chronicle.
This is Northeast Oklahoma City, a part of town struggling to shed a long history of drugs, poverty, prostitution. Rough streets rife with rumors, speculation, and suspicion. But on June 18, 2014, a sordid secret unearthed. Northeast 50th and Lincoln, 2 a.m. Police lights barely visible in this grainy surveillance video. Headed home after his shift, Officer Daniel Holtzclaw turns off his GPS, then makes a traffic stop. 58-year-old Janie Liggins pulls over her red Pontiac Grand Am. Discovering Liggins is driving without a state ID, Holtzclaw asks her to step out of the car.
Powder her down, ask her to lift up her shirt. No weapons that I could see.
Oklahoma City sex crimes detective Kim Davis.
She didn't have warrants, so she wasn't trying to get out of going to jail. There was no motive for her to make these allegations.
Allegations the officer sexually assaulted her.
It was her daughter that said, "We're reporting this." I think she just wanted it to go away. And so they went to the Spring Lake Division, but it was closed.
The entire case against Daniel Holtzclaw could end here, but it doesn't. Liggins is taken to the hospital for examination.
Janie was making allegations that she was assaulted by a police officer.
Complaints against officers not uncommon.
What made you believe Janie?
She was scared to death. She thought, if an Oklahoma City police officer would do this to me, then he's gonna have to kill me.
Davis goes back to police headquarters and compares notes with Detective Rocky Gregory. Gregory is working a separate report by a different woman claiming sexual assault by an officer.
The same type of, basically, MO.
We started realizing we had the same officer assaulting. We just didn't know his name at the time.
Our command pulled GPS of Spring Lake officers in the black cars. Why'd you log off?
I always log off.
Aren't you supposed to stay logged on until you get home?
Logging off against department policy.
Holtzclaw was logged off his computer, so they couldn't see where he was. That's how we got to him.
Davis and Gregory are increasingly convinced that Daniel Holtzclaw is the officer who stopped Liggins.
I interviewed Janie at 2 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock that afternoon when he started his next shift, Detective Gregory and I were at his station.
What did you learn?
From him, he was a loner. When you're in patrol, you kind of run with a certain group that you take calls with together and stuff, and you kind of eat with the same group. Not him.
The three file into a small room.
The question I have is, we got a lapse of time here, so I'm kind of get a better handle on where the time went. And even you said it was just a quick little search of the car. Where's the rest of that time?
Holtzclaw's story matching Liggins' account with one major exception.
Nothing sexual went on during that 15 minutes.
Nothing sexual.
Why in the world would she make this up?
I don't know.
Everything you're telling me is dead on to what she says, except the sexual stuff.
What was the demeanor you observed?
Robotic.
Yep.
No emotion.
None.
Holtzclaw's uniform pants taken to test for DNA.
All right, man. Pants in this bag.
When left alone in the interrogation room,
Hey, baby.
he calls his girlfriend.
Babe. I need to tell you what's going on.
We knew we had the right guy.
Daniel Holtzclaw entering the interrogation a cop,
We had to do this. It was the right thing.
leaving a suspect.
Holtzclaw is kicked off patrol, but the case against him is just beginning. Now, the developing allegations and how investigators find out there are more victims.
By June of 2014, Daniel Holtzclaw is on administrative leave from the Oklahoma City Police Department amid sexual assault allegations by 2 women.
Within a few minutes of my sex crimes chief, Galen Giger, learning about it, I realized that, you know, we very likely had someone wearing a uniform pretending to be a police officer, or we actually had a police officer using that authority to rape women.
Assistant DAs Galen Giger and Lori McConnell.
The detectives knew he wasn't telling us the truth. Now, that doesn't automatically mean he did what he's accused of doing, but it certainly raises anybody's common sense.
I mean, we knew what was going to happen. We knew we'd end up in a courtroom.
They were willing to file on the two.
How did you know this was getting bigger?
Our boss gave us each a stack of girls that he thought could be potential victims, and we just went knocking on doors.
The stack containing the names of women Daniel Holtzclaw searched on the police database for outstanding warrants and prior records.
As we're locating more victims, we're wrapping up these other cases.
The number of potential victims is growing, and a pattern is emerging.
I think he was profiling women who had criminal histories, who were in high crime areas, and who at least arguably were engaged in criminal activity.
You have prostitution and drugs and fear of the police.
That's the perfect victim, because nobody's going to believe him, and if somebody believes him, who cares? He picked those victims for a reason. They didn't report.
Do you tell a cop on a cop?
They'd say, who am I going to call on the police? The police? And they'd just laugh.
And we went to them, and we didn't tell them who we was investigating. Once they we gained the trust that, you know, we're just checking on things, that's when they would start to tell their story.
The women tell detectives their stories, walking them through the crimes. Davis and Gregory compare the women's accounts to the GPS in Daniel Holtzclaw's patrol car.
Until we interviewed a victim, we never went back and checked his GPS. And every time we went back, it was dead on.
So there was a clear trail.
Yes.
And then came Janie Ligon's case.
And then came Janie Ligon's case, yes.
Still ahead, detectives notice another alarming trend. There was a night where he struck more than once. The buildup to Daniel Holtzclaw's arrest and the moment the case goes public.